with Comics Gaming, and today we're actually gonna finish building this stats system that we created some time ago, I believe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, we've made it where it's gonna save the connections and the name, but someone asked, can you make it sort of on a rank system that will give each client points, and the points go up by time spent on server, like 1 point every minute? Yes, we can. It's actually pretty simple, in fact, and I've never done this before, but yeah, it's something like we have on the Comax server. So Comax, we go on the site, we actually go on player stats, and here it's gonna load all the stuff we have. Of course, this is MySQL. Let me expand this a bit. This is MySQL. This is not key values. That's why I'm actually able to view all this info from the website. We're gonna learn how to make one of these in the future. But yeah, first of all, I want to finish with key values. So yeah, I actually didn't save this source code, so I had to rewrite it all again. So yeah, pretty boring. Let's get started. So we say that when the client joins, when he spawns, we want to save the player info. We also want to make a new handle. It's gonna be called client timer. I've never done this, honestly, and I'm not gonna initialize it. But I've never done this method, but I think it helps in the server stability or something like that. I don't know. We can try. So we're gonna say that when the client spawns, we want to make it to where we're going to make this client timer for the client is gonna equal create timer. It's gonna loop every 1 second. I don't know what he asked though. Every minute. So 60 seconds. And the callback is gonna be timer at points. And then we're gonna make it, actually, wait a minute, yeah, we're not only gonna do points, actually, we're gonna do minutes as well. We're gonna save everything, so that's more like complex. Yeah, let's go. We're gonna send the client to the timer, and yes, it's gonna be repeating. Timer repeats every second. So we want to build the function now, public action, timer at points. We want to copy, paste. Our handle is gonna be timer any. It's gonna be the client. If you don't know what any of these means, go to my timers tutorial, and yeah, you'll understand it basically. So we are in here. We wanna say, okay, we wanna create a static points for every client and a static minutes for every client. Actually, it's the same as points, so yeah, it's gonna be stupid if actually, yeah. Timer add points. It's gonna be saving every second. Oh, yeah. We wanna take if the client is in game. Is client connected? The client and is client in game. This is important because if you don't check, it's gonna throw you some errors, and that's not cool at all. So yeah, in here we want to say points, the variable that we created for this client. So yeah, we're gonna do points, and the index of this array is going to be client. Since the client number is always unique for each client connected right now on the server, this index is going to be actually unique for that client, so it can never be confused. It can never be like, I don't know, broken or anything like that, hacked, exploits, I guess. Want to make that actually, want to make it plus equals 1. This means that it's gonna add increment 1. Actually, this is actually kind of stupid. We can do plus plus, and it's gonna be better. Points client plus plus. As we connect here, we're gonna do something here actually right now. This is done. Yeah, it's done. We actually want to say when you connect, we want to where is it connecting? I think it's connecting here. We want to grab the points that we created right here. I want to say kv get num. I want to know the parameters. Database. The key is gonna be points. The default value is gonna be 0, and we're good. So yeah, points was never created before. Something I'm gonna add in a second. Actually, at the end of this tutorial, we're gonna make it save. But we're gonna make it points client equal that. So when the client connects, basically what I'm saying, okay, get the info and save it. Like, yeah. So we're gonna get this. It's gonna save this so far. And I didn't. KV rewind. Database. Key values to file. Database. DV. KV path. And then we're gonna close handle. Copy, DB, paste, and we're good to go. There we go. It was not gonna work either way. I mean, anyway, if we didn't add that, it was not gonna work. So we have the point client, the variable we created up there, equal to something we're gonna get from the key values. There are gonna be the points. And after we get that, we want to say, okay, we want to create the timer, and it's gonna loop every 60 seconds. It's gonna have that, and we're gonna send the client. So then it's gonna verify if the client is connected and he's in game, and if he is, it's gonna increment the value of that. Initially, if it doesn't exist, it's gonna be called. It's gonna have the value of 0. Whoops. Yeah. Basically, that's all. Actually, now we want to say. We want to save this, in fact. So we want to say on player disconnect. On play public on client. What's on client disconnect. Disconnect. Yep. Client. And we wanna first of all close the handle. That's why we create the handle first, because we're gonna close it now to reduce the payload of the server to the processor. That's why we create this handle up there, and we're making it equal that, and then we're finally killing it when we don't need it anymore. And we actually want to call this. Actually, I'm gonna rename this. I'm gonna call it alter, like for alternate. And we want to call this function after this. I'm gonna call this function. I'm gonna add another parameter right now. So this is gonna be 1, and this is gonna be 0 right here. We're gonna send the client, and we're gonna say 0, because right here I'm gonna add connection. So what I want to do right here, we're gonna say if connection equals 1. We're gonna open our brackets or curly parentheses, curly parentheses, and then we want to say else if connection equals 0. I'm going to explain this in a second. Why did I make this? Basically, this is gonna say, okay, we are connecting, and here we are disconnecting. So we're gonna have to alternate the table every time that we connect 1, and when disconnect 0, and we added the parameter right here. So it's gonna say, okay, if the connection equals 1, we're connecting. If we're disconnecting, it's gonna be equaling 0, since we're getting it from here. So if we're disconnecting, notice that I added that right there, since I want to make this like for all the connections. I want to always have those key values available. So I'm gonna copy these, and I'm gonna say, okay, if we are able to jump to key, then we want to we don't need any of that. We want to set, okay, key v set num dv, comma, I think the name goes here, points, points, and then the value, it's gonna be points client. You may be wondering, okay, why are you doing this right here, not up there? Because we're actually right here, we want to get the value, and while the client is connected, we want to add 1 to that value. But when the client disconnects, we want to save it, not before, but after. So that's what happened. That's what's happening right here. Yeah. Let me see if I'm forgetting something. Actually, alter table. We add 1, and we're gonna create a command. I don't have much time left, but yeah. Create reg console cmd some stats or some info, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you want. We wanna say command get info, comma, public action this want to say client args. We're not gonna check it for the arguments either way. So, and here we want to say, okay, print, actually return first, plugin handle. I didn't spell it correctly. Plug in. Want to print to chat all. We want to say the name of the client has the points / minutes. So yeah, we're basically counting the minutes as well. Why? Because the points are going to be incremented every minute, and if we're incrementing every minute, we're also getting the minutes. So we're gonna get new name, string name. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna have time to test it. Get client name, client name, derp size of name. Here we want to add name, my bad, capital N, and then point client. Of course, if you wanted to add like connections, I don't know if we have that as a global variable. No, but you can make a global variable for connections, and yeah, we're good with that. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. Yeah, no errors. Anyways, guys, test it out. It's not gonna fail. Thanks for watching. As always, this was Matt with Comics Gaming. Please subscribe. I'll see you in the next tutorial.